Hello. We had a bit of a false start a moment ago, but we think this is good now and that we're rolling. Are we rolling, Jamie? Is it live? Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Just now I was chatting to you and then we realized that actually it wasn't working. And so we fixed it. Well, not we. Jamie did something. And now here we are again. So thank you for joining me today. We are here in Durban today. We're not at home in the country where we live. We have come down to the city, which is on the coast, which is on the east coast of South Africa, at a city called Durban, and it's on the beachfront, and we are staying in an apartment block for a few days. And yesterday we did a test live stream to see if it would work, because we needed to check that the internet and everything else was going to work, and it did. So we were very, very pleased with that, and here we are today again, and we are doing live stream. Today I've got some announcements to share with you, so I'm excited about that. But before I do, I actually said yesterday that I would share with you a little bit of our yesterday, which was I met my brother and his wife on the beachfront, on Durban beachfront, and it was just the most beautiful day. And so my brother Stephen, took some photographs and some footage of our time there. So Jamie, could you put that little video there? Okay, so Jamie just mentioned that what I was sharing with you, while I was sharing with you, the sound wasn't coming through while the video was playing. So I'm just going to say that again and just say to you that we just thought it was such a lovely day there on Durban beachfront that we wanted to share that with you. And so Stephen took some footage of that, and now you've seen it. It is of the Durban beach, the magnificent day, blue skies and lovely ocean. And the bit that you saw was the promenade with the umbrellas. That's where we had lunch. Now I'd like Jamie to just put a photograph of Stephen there for me, please. That's just my brother. He's very important. That is Stephen, and he is who I'm talking about. Thank you, Stephen, for taking that footage for us and that we could share it here on our Oikos live streaming. You might wonder, what has this got to do with Oikos live streaming? Well, it's got to do with the fact that we're trying to get this live streaming continuing. We're trying to make it continue to happen. And that is why we're down at Durban, to see if it's going to work with regard to being able to continue bringing live streaming to you. Because the reason why we'd like to continue bringing live streaming to you is because we would like to continue serving you and helping you. And after I'm finished sharing my day with you, I'm going to share some announcements about what's happening in Oikos. So you see, it's important that we are able to continue with this live streaming, because it's important that we can continue supporting you. All right, and then I also want Jamie to put a photograph up of Laurel, because that's my sister-in-law, Stephen's wife. I don't want to leave her out. She's also terribly important. So Laurel was there, and she ordered a crumpet. Now, I thought I'd chat a bit about that. Again, seems insignificant, but anyway, we call them crumpets here in South Africa, and I think you might call them all kinds of other things in different parts of the world. So I just thought that was an interesting little fact. And she just ordered a crumpet, and on top of the crumpet came this huge fruit salad, which she wasn't expecting. So it was a wonderful surprise. So she was rather pleased with her fruit salad crumpet. Okay, and I also mentioned yesterday how I was so blessed to watch a couple of rickshaw boys. We call them rickshaw boys. They're these guys on Durban beachfront that walk with these huge carts behind them, and they take people for rides. So they actually physically pull this huge cart behind them, and they take people for rides up and down the promenade, up and down the beachfront. But they didn't have anybody to take for a ride. And so what they were doing is they would just had their carts parked on the side, their rickshaw carts there on the promenade, waiting for someone to want to hop in and have a ride. And there was a beach ball, and they started playing soccer on the promenade with just a couple of children that were having lunch at the same place as we were under the umbrellas. And I just was so blessed by that, because I just saw this beautiful sunny day and these rickshaw boys just playing with these stranger children, kicking the ball together and just enjoying the beauty of the day. And then the little girl had a tumble, and the mom jumped up and went, and she was immediately available at her daughter's side, and she gave her a kiss on the knee, because the little girl had hurt her knee as she tumbled in her enthusiasm to kick the ball. And the whole scene, the whole picture just was so, so, so lovely that I wanted to share it with you. And why? So I can remind you that God is smiling on you when He sees you just enjoying your children and just enjoying the beauty of His creation and just being a family. Okay, so that was yesterday's preparation for being able to see if we could live stream today. And now here we are today live streaming. Let me see if anybody has joined me. This is going to go onto the home page after the fact. Imelda's there again. Thank you, Imelda, for joining us. I'm really, really pleased. Imelda is in the Eastern Cape. And she's saying she'll watch the replay when it will be on YouTube, by the way. This live stream will just stay on YouTube. And it will also be on the Oikos homepage once we get back to base, and we can upload it and put it on the homepage and all those good things. And Kieran's there. Kieran helps in Oikos, and he's saying hello. He's also there. Thanks for joining us, Kieran. I'm glad you could be there. Okay, so for today, the Oikos announcements today are the following. 1, we have audiobooks for you. So we are really active behind the scenes here, doing audiobook creation, as in taking one of the Oikos books, reading it aloud, and then uploading it as an audiobook, and then making it available for you. So you're going to be able to get some of our books in their physical form, in a digital form, being an ebook, or in an audio format. And the audio format is going to just work on whatever platform works for you, depending on what kind of device you got, what phone you're using, and who you connected with. And in case you're wondering how to go about, maybe you haven't listened to audiobooks yet, maybe it's something new to you, you can just go to the Oikos homepage, and that's oikosfamily.co.za, and there will be a banner there that says, oh no, I'm taking the, I was about to say podcast, that's something else. Actually, there isn't a banner for audiobooks, sorry, but what you could just do is you could just put in audiobooks in the search bar, and you can look for the audiobooks that are available on the Oikos site, and then you will find that will link you to the various different places where you can purchase that audiobook. This is a work in progress here at Oikos, so it's going to just get better. So it's really beginning stages at the moment, and we will just improve it as we go. But I wanted you to know that that's what we're busy doing. We're doing audiobooks for you, and the purpose being is that we would like to be able to offer you the opportunity of listening to one of the books being read aloud. I think it's just very exciting development, and I believe it's going to be supportive of you. That is the motivation behind everything here at Oikos. Is it going to support the people? Can we help you in this journey of home educating and this learning lifestyle and being at home with your children? What can we do here at Oikos to assist you in that journey? And the other thing we keep doing is we keep bringing in new resources. So, and when I say we keep bringing in, I mean, you must know, if you know Oikos well enough by now, you'll know that we got pretty much standard the same for the last 30 years. But books do come and go. Some books go out of print, like, for example, we had the Little House book series that we used to import for years, and then they went out of print. And so then we put them back in print, but it was 9 books. And so that took a couple of years to get those books back in print, but now they're available to you. So we've got them back in print. And the same thing now applies to the 2 new books that I want to tell you about. And you're going to find those on the Oikos homepage, because thanks to the behind the scenes team, they have made a lovely banner on the Oikos homepage that tells you about what's new. So when you go there, you'll see new, and you'll see 2 new books. And the one is Genesis Finding Our Roots. That book, oh, it is so beautiful. It's actually a full color book. We've put it on the website because it's brand new, new release and all the rest. We've put it there for you at the moment at as low a price as we can manage, considering all the costs and everything else. And why we brought it back into print is it's a book by Ruth Beechek. She wrote Adam and His Kin, and actually Adam and His Kin and Genesis Finding Our Roots are quite a good accompanying pair. They don't have to go together, but they do reference to one another, so it's quite handy having them both. And Adam and His Kin is available on the Oikos site. But Genesis Finding Our Roots is a very, very excellent Bible study book. Do you know that we have found people that have taken this book to use in their cell groups, in Bible study groups, and I mean, I could just go on. So it's beyond a home education need, okay? But from a home educator's point of view, it's very much a study book as well. There's like activities to do. It's not just sit and read this book out of interest. It's actually a resource that you can build from. And you know what I think? I think I shouldn't go into too much detail about Genesis Finding Our Roots, because I did a product video on that. So if you're interested in it, you can go to the homepage and click on that link, and it'll take you to where you can look at the video all about the book Genesis Finding Our Roots. And then there's more. There's another book called Reasonable Faith, and this book is written by our darling Dr. J. Wow. Now you might be familiar with him. He wrote the science series, and we are very fond of him, and he has, because there's a lot of reasons to be fond of Dr. J. We just like him, and we love him actually. And he has written a science series, Science Through History, which is also on the Oikos website. But he also wrote this book called Reasonable Faith. And if you again go to the Oikos homepage, you will see that this is a new launch as well. So if you're now this is just a read this book if you're interested. It's not a study book like Genesis Finding Our Roots, but it is quite incredible. It's actually Dr. J's scientific reason for explanation for Christianity, the science behind, and just all the questions that people have about Christianity, the validity and so on. So it's a strong argument for Christianity. So if you would like a lot of answers in that regard, I would suggest that you go and look at that book. And in fact, as a standard on the Oikos site, you will see the book, and then you'll see a couple of pages of the insert of that. What's the first few pages of the book. You'll be able to read the content pages. Just read those first couple of pages, and that's going to give you a really good idea of what this new book, Reasonable Faith, is all about. So you'll see both of those books are actually Bible study related books. They're not a new resource or a new educational toy or a new curriculum resource is what I meant to say, per se. But they are such treasures that is why we want to put it back into print, and why it's taken a couple of years actually to get both of those back into print, but it's worth it because of the content of the book, because of the people that have written them, because of the motivation of why they were written, all for the sake of being able to share them with you so that you have these rich treasures that can be attainable to you. So I hope that you are going to find those to be useful. Those were our new book announcements. Now, I'm not going to tell you when the next new resource is going to come available, because you probably gathered by now that we don't actually do enormous amount of launching of new resources, and every month we're bringing out something new. It doesn't work like that, because we are a small team and we just do what we can when we can. And so if other things come crowding in and we can't actually give that particular project our time, it has to just wait, and then we'll get on with it when we can. And that has been the case with those 2 books. They've waited in the queue for quite a long time, but now they're available to you. So that's why we get really excited when they're finally ready to give to you, because we know how many hours and months and very often years the project has actually been in the wings, and then we're able to launch it and give it to you, and we're very, very pleased about that. We're going to hope that you will be too. All right, so that is those 2 books. It's the audiobooks I wanted to tell you about. I also wanted to tell you about the podcast. You know, we stopped live streaming as frequently because of all our technical problems, and we thought, well, while we're having internet issues, we will just get going with the podcast, because the podcast we can record anytime, and then we just upload it when we can, and it's not quite as dependent on stability of internet and speeds and all those things. So we started this podcast so that every week I could just chat to you on a podcast about whatever it was that I felt led to talk to you about. And I have been taking these podcasts quite seriously, really, because I feel it's a responsibility and it's a commitment, and I just feel it's serious. I know sometimes podcasts can just be a light-hearted thing, but for me, the podcasts became very important because I felt that I had the opportunity to share something with you intimately in that particular moment. And so I put to prayer before I go in to do the podcast recording, and I just seek the Lord, and what is it you want me to share with the people today? And I want to just share something with you about that, and that is the one week when I was preparing, to knowing that I was going on Friday to do some recording for podcasts if Friday presented itself as such, but that was the plan. We always know that we don't actually know what tomorrow is going to bring, but we try our best to put some things in place. And I knew I was hopefully going into the studio to do some recording of the podcast on the Friday. And so I was praying about it. And the whole time, each time I prayed about it and waiting to go to the podcast, to do the podcast, I just kept on getting the same thing repeatedly. And I didn't quite know why it was just kept on coming to me, the same thing. And I couldn't make sense of it, to be honest. I just thought, well, I don't really understand that. But anyway, I'll just keep praying. And the thing that kept on coming to me was an example. Be an example. Be my example. So I thought, okay, let me go and do some research. Let me go read some scripture. Let me go and see what it is that he is saying about this being an example. And then I went and read some scripture, and oh my goodness, I suddenly realized that there's just so many scriptures to choose from regarding being an example. And you know what happened after that is I was reading these scriptures about being an example, and then I was getting so convicted because I was aware of how easy it is to cross over into the world's way, how easy it is for us to slip across the line and find ourselves in society that is not actually being the example that we need it to be, or what we need our children to experience, or from leadership down, there was an example that was not being something that looked like a godly example. Okay, so all of a sudden I became convicted, and I started realizing that I wasn't being an example of Christ in the certain situations that were being upsetting. Like the one that stands up at the moment is customs and duty and import, because it's just been document dance. I said to our daughter this morning that I want to hang up my dance shoes, and those are my document dance shoes, because they're worn out from all the document dance that you have to do just to be able to import something. And it never used to be such a task, but it is now. And so it was very, very easy to get caught up in the difficulty and the complaining, And I realized, how is that being an example of Christ in the situation? It's not. In my flesh, I was just being weak. And so I went into the podcast with all these scriptures about being an example. Let me just check with Jamie. Jamie, has that Been an Example podcast gone up yet? Was it going up on Saturday? Is it going up? Oh, you see, what happens is we will record a few podcasts and then we put them up once a week. And so this one that I'm talking to you about now, Being an Example, is actually only going up this coming Saturday. But my goodness, from when I shared that on the podcast, it has really, really been front and center for me. I've just been noticing how much and how easy it is. How much and how easy. How often. No, not getting them up, never mind. How frequently we fall into being something other than his example. Now let me just emphasize that by falling into the trap of our own flesh and not being the example that he wants to be does not result in fruit that is good. It's not good for us, it's not good for our children. And there is even more seriousness on us as parents to make sure that we are being an example of Christ before our children on every level we possibly can be, because that there will be the only example they might be seeing to prepare them for adult life. Because the way we're experiencing it at the moment, you step out into the world, or we mustn't be of the world. We are in the world, but we mustn't be of it, and so on. That's scripture. But the point is that when you're there, you're surrounded by the darkness of things that corrupt your mind. And so as a parent, our children are either going to experience us complaining about the corruption or about the wrongdoings or whatever, or they're going to see our reaction to that. And what should our reaction be? Should it be one of complaining? Or should we go and seek his word and see what he says about that? And what he says about that is that we are to rejoice in all circumstances. So just imagine, instead of standing in a line and complaining, in South Africa we call it a queue. I especially said line because I think that's more general. But anyway, here we stand in a queue, and instead of complaining about how long the queue is, why not think about being the example he's asked us to be in that? The difference is day and night. Okay, so that was a very long sharing, simply to tell you that we're doing these podcasts every week. And I am finding them to be very convicting. I'm finding that God is leading them, and he's showing me what I need to be sharing. And as I explained at the beginning of this, I don't even understand why he specifically wants me to share on that. And then I do. And then I get convicted, and then I start seeing before me why it was so important and why it is so important. So I do hope that you will be able to find these podcasts easy enough for you to listen to, because they're a few minutes. I don't want to make them long, the podcasts. Trying to keep them short so that just for a few minutes while you're washing the dishes or driving in the car or however it is that you consume audio material, that you're going to find them to be helpful. And I also hope that they'll convict you like they convict me, because I'm sure if they do, and you can apply what it is that is shared there, that it's going to help you in your journey. That's the hope. Okay, now I'm going to just have a quick look and see if is there anybody there that you're aware, because I can't really. Jamie, are there some visitors there? Okay. I don't know where Annalie is, because Annalie told us she was going to be joining us today. She's in Canada. All right, so I've shared with you, I'm just looking at my notes quickly, because I shared with you about the 2 books. I've shared with you about the audiobooks and the podcast books. And here's the last announcement. And that is, we are offering you something new now, something new here at Oikos, and it's called Pre-Loved Books. We're very excited about this. Do you know why? Because we are trying to find a way to support you with your resources that you purchased that are then sitting on the shelf and you're not going to use them again. Let's say you purchased one of the lateral parent books and you've used it for a couple of your children and now you're not using it anymore. And it's sitting there and maybe you want to move it on for somebody else to be able to use. Well, you would have known, depending on how much you know Oikos or don't, that we aren't able to support the second-hand selling of books because of the fact that they are intellectual property, and we want to be able to give the royalties to the original developer and author and creator of that material. So as you can imagine, if somebody bought a blue book set to teach their child to read and they finish with the blue book set and then it goes to the next person, the next person, the next person, by the time it's on the third or fourth person, all those little children have had the opportunity of, and the parent, of being able to use this resource to teach a child to read. But the people who developed it have only received royalty for one of those children's, one of the children that could benefit from the program. But then they've got their own expenses and costs to keep revising and improving, and the people that they have in their organization to keep delivering and supplying this particular resource. So because of all these kinds of reasons and many more, we haven't been able to support the second-hand market. It also hasn't been something that was permitted beyond South Africa. So for example, in the States, the people who developed the program and the people who we pay royalties to, second-hand sales was a whole different set of laws in their country to what it was in our country. But with the world shrinking the way it is, as in people being able to get anything from anywhere, it has changed the consideration of the whole second-hand market and made people look at it differently. And the result of all of that is that we have now found a way that we can support you with your resources that you have, that you no longer are using. You've used them, so you've got your value from them, but now they're sitting on your shelf and you would like to be able to get the next set of resources, say from Oikos, your next level that's relevant for your next child. Now, because of your loyalty and because we want to be loyal to you, we have this now, you could call it a loyalty program, I suppose, but anyway, it's called Pre-Loved Books, which means that you can go onto the website and you'll find a form on the website that gives you opportunity to put what books it is that you would like to return. It's like a trade-in type of a plan. And then we will receive those books. We'll organize for collection from them with our courier. I'm going to just be a little bit careful because I'm not sure of the actual clerical administrative steps of all of this, because that has all been worked out behind the scenes, and because it's a new concept, new idea, and new thing we're offering you, it's going to have some little wrinkles that will need to be ironed out along the way. So if you can just bear with us with that. But it is available right now. It's really in operation. It started last week, and that's why I was excited about sharing it with you on live streaming, to say that you'll be able to go to the form on the website, and you'll be able to list the books that you have. Then we will organize the ones that you want to return, and then we will organize collection, and they will come into Oikos, and then we will assess them, and we will see what kind of condition they're in, whether it's the condition scale is going to be excellent, good, and fair. And then another condition, the final condition, will be where they're not able to be moved on to somebody else. In which case, that particular set of books, if they're evaluated as such, will go straight into the donations, which will then be distributed to the children crisis centers. And all of that is audited and kept check and everything else. So the thing is, you might send some books back, and in your view, you might think they're in excellent condition, and you might only get a good condition evaluation from us. And I'll tell you why. Somebody sent some books back just last week. There was absolutely nothing wrong with these books, as in their usability. but they were secondhand, clearly secondhand. You know, scuffed corners, cracked spine, a little bit marked here and there, a little bit grubby here and there. And, you know, if you were buying a new resource from Oikos, you wouldn't like to buy something that didn't look brand new, I wouldn't think, and pay full price for it. So we are going to be fairly strict with our evaluation. We're not going to give it an excellent. Excellent means it actually looks as good as new, as though it hadn't even been used in any manner or form. It just didn't look in any way used. That would be excellent. Good is the next level down, and fair is where it needs to be understood by the purchaser, the person after the fact who will be buying, that it's only fair, the condition is only fair, which is a low star condition. So I say star, I don't know whether they're going to use the star system or not or what. So this is going to just develop as we go. But for now, what I can tell you is you can let us know what books you would like to return, and then we will have our courier collect them. They'll come to us, we'll evaluate them, we'll decide on their condition, and then we will issue you with a gift card that will be like a discount coupon. So the next time you go into the Oikos store, you'll be able to use that discount coupon, whatever it is, whether it's 30 Rand or 300 Rand or whatever it might be, and you'll be able to then use that as a discount towards your next purchase. Isn't that wonderful? And then those books that you sent back to us will go into a special category on the Oikos website that'll be called pre-loved books, or whatever it'll be called. And it'll be in a way that you will know when you're on the website that these books are damaged, and these books are clearance books, and these books are sale books, and these books are pre-owned, pre-loved, whatever books. Okay? And then you will be able to purchase a book that is in good condition at a reduced price to what you would pay for a brand new book. So you see, I'm hoping that this whole situation new development that we're putting together for you is just going to be a blessing. And it's not, you are going to be buying a book that was maybe used before. But what we're going to do on our side, I just want to explain this to you so that you realize that, and that you understand that we are not going to be removing the blessing to the original owner, which is what has always been our concern, because by this way we're going to actually have a separate category of any book that has come in through the pre-loved system and gone out again. We're going to be having, oh, there's a very big noise here. We're going to be having those, this sounds like the building's falling down. Is it all right, Jamie? Okay. We're going to be having those books listed. And when we go to do our royalties, we'll know that these are the books we've sold new, and these are the damaged books, and whichever, and then we can submit that to the people that we pay royalties to. And then they, on their side, obviously we can't do this without any of their agreements, so we've worked with all of that, but they will then be able to tell us what royalty they require of a book that has been gone through the system of the pre-loved, trade in, whatever. Okay. So the other thing about all of this is that if you are purchasing a previously owned book or pre-loved book through this Oikos system, and you need assistance or help in any way, then you know that you purchased it at Oikos, on the Oikos online store. So you can go there for help with regard to the videos and chat to us and phone calls and emails and those things. We'll be able to assist you, which I'm hoping that's going to be another service that's going to be valuable to you. Because if you are purchasing resources just randomly, you don't necessarily have a place to go back to get any help that you might need down the road, because you don't know. You don't know when you're busy with a resource that you're halfway through it and you suddenly discover that something's not right, there's a few pages missing or whatever it is. You might not even be able to get hold of the person you purchased that from if you purchased via some means where there's not that continued support. Okay. So I do hope that you are as excited about this as we are here at Oikos. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping it's going to go well. Just please be patient with us while we get it all nicely, smoothly working for you. And Annalie is there, and she said, it is an awesome idea. Thanks, Annalie. You know, I think it's an awesome idea. It's taken us a long, long time to get here, and I'm just excited about it. I just think it's wonderful. Oh, I didn't clear something else up, and that is this pre-love books is actually only for resources that have been purchased on Oikos. That's another thing. Can you imagine? We can't deal with send us any pre-loved resource you have and we'll put it on our pre-loved. Oh no, we can't do that. That part we maybe one day, but right now, just to get this going, it's only for resources that people have purchased from Oikos on the online store. That's what this is for. So, and there's quite a lot in that. We just think if somebody's bought a maths level and now they want to get the next maths level, you understand. But it's not for beyond that at this point. Okay. And Sylvie's there. Hello, Sylvie. Sylvie, I hope you're doing well. And we hope to see you sometime soon. All right. Jamie, we have been here for a while, and I've done all my announcement. I've told the people about the new launch books, Genesis, Finding Our Roots, Reasonable Faith. Oh, for people such as you, Annalie, that is in Canada, we hope that the new launch books that we do, we also hope to be able to make them as an audiobook. That's the idea. This is long-term plan. So whatever announcements we make that are directly pertaining straight away to the South Africans, I don't want you to feel left out, because we're always thinking beyond. We're thinking globally. We don't think locally only. We start locally and then we expand to globally. So whatever we do, it is with the hope to be able to make whatever that is available to anybody, anywhere. So our two new resources, Reasonable Faith and Genesis, Finding Our Roots, we hope to have them available as audiobooks one day, so you'll also be able to get it. But even if not before then, we possibly can make it available as an ebook fairly soon, in which case you'll be able to get it in its digital form. Okay, just so you don't feel left out. No, I don't want all your Canadian curriculum. Thanks for offering, but no. I realize you've been funny. Okay. Right, Jamie, I think I've told them about the podcast. Thank you to those of you who do listen to the podcast. It's really excites me to know that you are receiving them and consuming them. And that's it. I've done my announcement. Our live streaming has gone, besides our false start, how's our live streaming been going? Great. Okay. Annalie, I see you joined us a bit late, so after the fact you can go and see we dropped in the footage that my brother did when we were at Durban Beachfront with him yesterday, with Stephen and Laurel. So we put those photos and video footage in there. You can show your children the rickshaw boys. All right. That's it then. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. I hope the whole story of our new developments has been exciting for you as it is for us. And I hope that it is going to bless you, those moms who are there, and anybody who's watching this video after the fact. I hope you are going to be blessed by these developments in Oikos. And we look forward to continuing to serve you. That's what we're here for, to serve you. So thank you for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.